Good vibrations.
Good vibrations.
Good vibrations.
With the Emergence AS8 home theater audio system, NewAudio has revolutionized the way sound is reproduced and perceived. Regardless of a room's acoustic or configuration, sound can now be experienced as a true 3D audio hologram, a perfect fractal of the original sound, immersing you fully in the event, as if you were right there in the movie itself or in front row seats at the concert, part of a crowd at the sporting event, or listening live inside the recording studio with the artist.
Our revolutionary AS8 speaker technology directs air pressure vibrations along the same trajectory as sound waves, creating a sound indistinguishable from reality. Where standard speakers produce audio that sounds like a recording due to moving a portion of the air pressure vibrations perpendicular to sound waves, the AS8 system directs those air pressure vibrations along the same path as sound waves, creating what we're dubbing as the reality vector. The Emergence AS8 is an audio system that completely redefines how sound is reproduced. The alignment of both the sound wave and the air pressure vibrations enable layers of perception within the image, producing sound in 3D. The layered perception within the image reveal the ambient acoustics, so you feel like you're in the front row of a concert, immersed in a movie or game, or part of the crowd at a sporting event.
Hi, I'm Joel Hayes, the inventor of the AS8 system and the founder of NewAudio in Australia. I'm a long-time audio engineer and inventor with a history in developing audio technologies. I have three passions. Those passions are industrial design, engineering, and music. We have combined those three passions to bring you the AS8. It is my crowning achievement, but now I need your help to bring it to market on a mass scale. We have worked out all the production costs, all the build details, all the production issues. But now I need funding to complete the production run and bring the products to market. These are said to be the greatest revolution in loudspeakers since the cone. That was invented in 1925. I want to explain to you the technology behind the AS8s. The device, this reflector, has the ability to create a virtual singularity, which means all the sound appears as though it's coming from a single point in space, just in here. So the sound off the driver goes up through this series of time delays. So when you go away from the speaker into the listening position and look at the vibrations, no matter where you are in the room, if you project the line back through those vibrations, they all come back and all those lines will intersect a single point in space. In mathematics, that's called a singularity. So we've created a virtual singularity, and to your perception system, it sounds like it's the ideal point source. According to Wikipedia, such ideal point sources don't exist in the observable universe. Well, move over observable universe, they do exist now. It's called the AS8. In perception, if you can make the illusion that all the sound comes from a single point in space, you turn the holography on into maximum. There are companies like Genelec and Maya are great companies, great designers, who design their product to try to be a point source. Speaker cones, as we know them, have limitations to how much of a point source they can become. The AS8 overcomes this. If you can do that, the sweet spot becomes enormous. The sound everywhere in the room becomes what we call linear phase. It's a good thing. And the holography just becomes alive. It sounds like a live sound. And it gives you the perfect wavefront, what we call good vibrations. It does it across the whole spectrum, and you just get maximum holography. The illusion that if you close your eyes, it is reality. This technology to bring you ideal point source we call IPS, and we hope to see it available to all loudspeaker manufacturers. I can't wait to go to a gig, hear an IPS PA system that's got audiophile holographic sound, and because of that linear phase acoustics, you don't get feedback. Then I'll feel the journey's over.
The clarity and the width is amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm Dave Cook. I just listened to the AS8s here at my studio, Area 52 Studios in Saugerties, New York. And my initial impressions when I first fired them up next to my Meyer HD1s that I've been using forever was that, well, first of all, the depth of field and the wide field is what hit me the most. I have a pretty small area for seating and listening here in the control room. So one of the problems that I have is if people are off to the side, that you'll lose a lot of clarity and imaging from my regular monitors. We walked all around the control room, behind the console and everything else, and the imaging and the clarity was right there the entire time. I might be mixing on them at some point soon.
It really seems like the major highlight being the imaging aspect of it all. That it's you're equal where you are in space, you know.
My name's Danny Blume. I operate Hidden Quarry Studio here in Woodstock, New York. And Ted and James just came over and gave me a demonstration of the AS8s, which are quite frankly bizarre. They defy what I know or thought I knew about physics of sound, in that they don't seem to be affected by the sound of the room, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I would love to give you some brilliant, nerdy explanation of the reason why that happens, but I can't. I have no idea. But I will say that they sound really, really nice. I think they'd be incredible in a home listening environment, because I know in my own living room, it's a complete mess in terms of listening to music in stereo, because one speaker's over there and one's over there, and it's just the way my room is set up. And if I sit in one spot, I can hear them both equally, and that's nice. But mostly, it just doesn't work like that. And while here in the studio, this room is all nicely treated, and so that those issues don't exist. But out there in the real world, something like that would be just awesome. So, go Kickstarter. You don't even need to bring another speaker in here to know that it's working, because you can hear from from the voice, and then just the fact that it doesn't change.
It doesn't do that.
That's
glass on both sides, and
yes, everything about this space is wrong.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I like having it in the studio. But that's quite something. I have no idea why that works.
Hi, I'm David Lax from David Lax Productions, David Lax Videography, and welcome to my studio. With the AS8s, I get perfect clarity. It's like putting on glasses when you're nearsighted, and I can hear all the elements perfectly in balance without any preference to bass frequencies or high frequencies. Everything's flat, and that's a good thing. I highly recommend AS8s for critical editing because it gives you a flat response without any colorization of any of the frequencies. It's a perfect speaker to do sound editing for both music, ambient sounds, video, things like that. Another great element of the AS8s is that they have a very small footprint. And I don't have a lot of room in my studio, and they give me a great sound with a small footprint. I have the distinction of being the first USA AS8 purchaser. I've had these beautiful speaker system in my studio for over a year now. I'm absolutely thrilled with them.
Hi, my name is Jerry Merotta. We're here at Dreamland Studios in Woodstock, New York, and we're here listening to the AS8 holographic speakers, a demonstration of the speakers. For us, they're unusual design. I think probably, I don't think there's another speaker out there that's got the same design, even close to the same design. They're completely different. They're very unusual, and they're very interesting looking. And we've been A-Bing them, A-Bing and C'ing and D'ing them with our different speakers, and listening to music. One was my record, and a few of the other projects that we've been doing here at Dreamland, and really finding them quite nice to listen to. Very interesting sound, and I mean, one of the aspects of the speakers is that stereo imaging is, you don't have to sit between the speakers. You can be anywhere in the room, and you get a really great stereo image. And yeah, we've really enjoyed having them here to test out.
Very impressive.
It was the imaging really got me. It almost seemed, compared to the Pro Axe, the vocals, the way they were sitting in the mix, they kind of like sunk down. It's a weird analogy, but where listening to the Pro Axe seemed more directional, of course. So it was more of a shape, a different sounding shape.
Yeah, the Pro Axe, like after switching a few times and getting the level between the two right, the Pro Axe almost sounded like they're mono collapse, and they weren't. Like, if I would integrate this into my like hi-fi listening system at home, or to
it's all perfect.
perfect, just plug and play.
I mean, it's a pretty cool idea that these could be put in a closet and sound good, no matter where you are, because fundamentally that's what's wrong with the music business. Every laptop with Pro Tools now in this country is in not a correct recording environment. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's the stuff that we get, the stuff that we listen to. Major pop records now are, it's all very, it's done in really not correct acoustic places.
Yeah. So again, with the ASA, it's putting a ceiling cap on now. If you're in a small space and it's not, you don't know what it's doing acoustically, the thing about this technology is, because it's putting out a pure diffusion, every flat surface is a specular reflecting surface. But our energy, we take all the specularity out of the signal. We actually take time out of the signal as well. And what we're creating, this nothing energy, this diffusion, that it's a traveling wave, but it's still. So you got your audio going towards you and you've got nothing going sideways. But because it actually is diffuse, you don't get reflections out of the room. It's very bizarre, but we can prove it sideways. So you've got a sound wave that's coming out where the vibration or the compression of air, if it's an impulse, is just going out as a ring, an omnidirectional ring, completely still sideways. And it's the stillness sideways that's the trick here, because the difference between left and right should be the only thing creating a sideways signal.
Well, the sound is feels much bigger than the size of these. I mean, the space between them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, that magic thing is translation, and they seem to work very well on that. So that, you know, if it's right, and it's going to translate into your car, and it's going to translate into something worth mastering, you know.
Well, the big selling point about these is in like project studio scenarios where there's not like room acoustics, like somebody in a small bedroom or whatever. It has a bigger sound field. I mean, that's what I'm getting from this. You know?
Yeah.
And it's nice. It is big, and it's.
You can have walls right there, but you're hearing way past them.
Right. It does seem to open up, and I noticed on that Seal track, the like. At one point, I don't know if they were pointed that way, where I could actually hear the modulation and the delay in his voice, where I didn't really hear that before.
Yeah. The thing about the Schroeder diffuser is the autocorrelation equals the zero, which means that there is no pattern. It's the perfect nothing. And I'm serious when I say I know more about nothing than anyone on the planet. But it's all about nothing. So when you have an autocorrelation of zero, you've taken all the specularity, you've given this, you're convolving an audio signal with a loudspeaker transfer function that is nothing. And what you get is the audio in the room.
So that's really
It's just a little single tiny little driver.
driver that's hitting
Bouncing off this thing.
an
diffusing it.
acoustic diffuser.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what we're listening to.
Yep.
That doesn't make it any louder. It's just more diffused.
But the thing is, it took.
Phase linear is what
This is the really interesting thing for me as an acoustician, right? As an auditorium designer, there was always this diffusion. It's got a power factor of 1. Diffusion's got no phase. And this, it all comes together with this. So what we actually measure in the room is a linear phase everywhere.
It's interesting. I do like the top. It's nice.
It's a
And
lot
the
of
image is pretty cool.
It's really a lot of detail.
An application that might be really good for this and something to talk about. But when we're doing projects in here, we typically have 2 or 3 workstations going now on major projects. But they may actually work really good, like next to the actual monitor. You know, where I'm talking about, like, there's times when somebody wants to edit and you don't really want the full energy in the room, and it's actually better to have, you know, a little micro situation.
Yeah.
And because of the nature of this design, it may actually work right next to the monitor. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah. Like I
see how we have those pads there? We normally have a small pair of speakers where, for instance, we have a whole room full of people here, and all of a sudden I say, hey, can you go and comp this guitar track? But I don't want the whole energy of the room.
And you don't have to lock up the whole facility too.
Right.
To do that, right?
And also if somebody says, hey, I'm going to go tune vocals in the next room, which is another typical scenario now where people come in and there's 3 workstations going at once. It's not uncommon to have small little satellites everywhere.
We have a system in the Good Company. They do music videos.
Yeah.
And they have about 5 workstations and a big long desk.
Right.
And one of these, I think a speaker at either end of it, and they just connect by Bluetooth.
Right.
Hey guys, listen to this. They connect in on Bluetooth, play it to everyone. And I must admit, like yesterday I just had a day off and I had it in another room. And when you're outside the room, it does sound like you've got very close to an actual band in there playing. But being on the other side of the house, you know, being with these, you don't tend to be so locked in front. There's a sweet spot everywhere.
Right.
But the idea of just where do you want the band to be? Put them in that corner, you know, and go be in the kitchen cooking or something and just.
Well,
select
sometimes
some
it's
songs.
nice to have it out everywhere, and that doesn't have to be so loud. You know.
You can actually daisy chain these things, up to 10 of them. They got SPDIF in and out, so you can. I haven't had a chance to do that myself, but I put it in the design spec. The idea is to do a distributed sound, right? Okay, so this gives you the more point source you can get, the bigger the sweet spot, and the more space you get.
So this is more about, it's not a direct, you don't have to like be in the perfect triangle thing, you can be on the other side of the room and you'll still
the other point here is that if it's non-perfect room acoustics, it solves a couple of problems instead of it being a treated situation. You know what I mean by that? Like, in other words, if it is a bedroom or it's a kitchen or somebody has a small little room, you put them next to your monitor, you plug in and you go. That's the point, I guess.
Look, yeah, there's the budget of the building. It's a lot cheaper to buy a pair of monitors than it is to acoustically treat a room. It's not cheap. Right?
I know all about
How
that.
much are your monitors too? How much is the pair that you're selling?
$695, I think, is the price
How
point.
much are your monitors? Because usually I feel like the price point is so far below for the quality and the imaging that you're getting.
Much more than
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think your price point is really good. I know.
Here's the broom closet, mix the movie. You know, that's exactly.
Well, you
what it
know,
is.
I'm going to tell you, we've done feature film work here, and they literally come in and they'll take over every room. We'll be doing something in this room, somebody will take over that room. Downstairs in the kitchen table, they were flying in strings. They bring in TV monitors, they bring everything in, and they use every freaking room in the place.
Yeah.
They literally, when they rent the place, like they bring an accountant and film editors. And the film editors or the music editors are, you know, loading in the live strings that they did in, you know, the Czech Republic and working on it at the same time. So to have multiple stations is very common, even for rock music, even for pop music.
Yeah, I guess that there's the chance of standardising too. If you're going to get the same sound no matter what the room acoustic is, then at least you know your benchmark,
Right.
irrespective of the room or where you go. It's like going to a known reference point, you know,
Yeah.
which is, we all know how important that is.
Experience movies and music like never before. The Emergence AS8 sound system delivers superb sound quality through patented acoustic 3D technology that helps create an intense feeling of being right there in the middle of your favorite TV and music entertainment. Stunning acoustic 3D sound means the compact Emergence AS8 can outperform many of today's soundbar products. And with quick and simple setup and virtually no room reflections to interfere with the sound, it's an ideal substitute for 5.1 speaker multi-channel home theater systems. Just pair the two satellites with the integrated 120-watt amplifier base unit and cable connect up to 4 audio sources, such as a TV, portable audio player, or CD player. Use the supplied remote to select what you want to listen to and at what volume, or connect the included adapter to wirelessly play tunes from Bluetooth and NFC-enabled smartphones, tablets, and PCs. The Emergence AS8 makes home entertainment easy, however you like to listen.